Welcome to Infectious Laughter Podcast.
Where real, ridiculous, and relatable moments from working in healthcare are shared.
We respect HIPAA because it's real and we like our licenses. Now let's do this with culture and sensitivity. So, listening crew, once again, Nancy and I found ourselves talking so much and branching off into so many different places that another episode has been broken into two. I hope you enjoy this brief episode based mainly on our quote unquote research or quote searching up and quote what other nurses have said they need to carry with them. Well, I'm going to take like a few moments to tell you a couple of things. I went online to, search stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
And I searched, tools that nurse practitioners use. And everybody, first of all, the last Reddit thread, which is the most popular place that people were putting things, was 3 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And it was all about like backpacks. And I don't need a backpack because I don't have a whole lot of stuff. I can't walk in and out of patient rooms with a backpack. I'm not going to put it on the floor outside the patient room and it's not going to disappear or whatever. But the one for nursing, titled Any Tools You've Used That Actually Made Your Shift Easier, was last updated 4 months ago. And I'm just going to read you a few of the names of the people on Reddit, because they make little names, as well as some of their comments.
Mm-hmm.
So one person says having a CNA available made their shift better.
Oh.
And lots of things there. One person says, they're talking about like an Epic, the sticky note, whatever. That's fine. One person who is just like sort of an anonymous thing says, less stuff, period. All I need is a pen, shears, and a stethoscope. Hopefully, also wearing clothes. Cleans up the pre-shift ritual a ton.
Yeah.
Yeah. And no one else seemed to comment on them wearing clothes. They all said, add a small inspection flashlight. So, and Trauma Tingles is the name. And he or she says, best thing I ever did was die inside when I hit the clock. Everything else is pretty easy after that. Horrible.
Yeah.
And a response from, I hate these words, Nancy. And I use a lot of words, but their name is Loves to Spunk. Says, this is the best answer. Die when you clock in. You're a zombie. Just take care of your patients. You don't exist. Clock out. Healthcare doesn't exist. Enjoy your life.
Wow.
And some of that is leaving it at work.
Right.
But you can't be a zombie and do what we do.
Not at all.
No. Terrible.
I think one of the reasons I've lasted so long, especially at the bedside, is leaving it at work. I have a great ability to do that. And, I'll be off for a couple of days and come back and somebody will say, hey, do you remember that patient? And they'll give me a name and I'll be like, not really.
So I was just joking today with the RN in the office because I'm in the office 1 day a week. Otherwise, I'm in the hospital. And she's like, hey, you remember so-so went home on these IV antibiotics? And I said,
yeah,
I need more info than that.
Right.
Literally, I just saw him 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And she goes, well, it was the thigh infection and they went to blah, blah, blah nursing home and they were on these 2 antibiotics. And I go, oh, this lady who was on the 5th floor and she's not so smart and the sister's really weird. And she goes, yeah, that's the lady.
So you remembered by the 2 antibiotics?
No, the drama generally.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes antibiotics help to be like, oh, the doctors, they can tell you, hey, I can't tell you. So no, we can't die inside. We hate that thread.
Right.
We'll give that a thumbs down. And, so a good one from, I can't even read what all those letters mean together, says Lexapro and Wellbutrin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever gets you through.
Treat your depression, right? Fanny Pack comes up a lot. I do see a lot of nurses now.
Yes, that seems to be the new thing. I have my bag, which I keep at my nurse's station. Our rooms aren't too far, but a lot of the newer nurses since COVID, I notice, have fanny packs. So
yeah.
Yeah.
But they're also back in style all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I will say that I still have what I consider my brain.
Yes.
And
Report sheets.
yeah, but
Well, for you, it's not a report sheet, but
right. So when I was a nurse, I made like a grid,
mm-hmm.
and I had what medications I was going to have to give and what time, so I could kind of check that off.
Write down your labs.
My labs, I had that. I had which, services they were being seen by, any tests they were having today, educational things,
Right.
Knowledge gaps that the patient had. But also when I was a nurse, I was paper charting.
Right.
So some of that is now on the computer, but as you're walking around, you can't be like, let me go check the computer to see,
Right.
what I need to do.
Yeah, I have to be kind of self-contained. So my report sheets, I write the meds on the back. That's in my pocket. My pens are in my pocket. I can't. I'm great on the computer, but I'm not tied at the hip, attached at the hip to a
Right.
computer. Matter of fact, a few years ago, we had a huge outage. None of the computers were working.
Oh, yeah.
And I noticed a lot of the nurses were still taking a computer from room to room. And I guess it's a portable desk. But
Oh, okay. So they're writing their note
I guess
in their brain.
none of the none of the charting stuff was working. You couldn't get labs. To me, it was kind of freeing, but it was kind of like the old days where we didn't have the computer.
Right. Very different then.
It helps a lot on my unit. We have a computer in every room rather than like if I flow it to a different unit, there's kind of a grab in the morning to get a computer on wheels and keep that with you all day and put your name on it and, make sure everybody knows it's yours.
Yes. And as I come onto the units, the stationary like desk computers, the nurse will have their clipboard with their stuff on it, and I'm looking for a charting location because I'm all over the hospital, and I just have to go. I don't know what nurse is here right now. I'm taking this spot.
You know how the computers on wheels for a while were called cows.
Yes.
Did you know why we are not allowed to call them that anymore?
Were you guys mooing at each other?
No, and this was kind of a nationwide thing. My sister, who was she's retired now, but she was an architect who worked in designing hospitals and medical buildings, knew about it across the country. Apparently, and this is when these were new, a couple of nurses were outside the room, a patient's room, and they said, "Oh, there's the cow."
No.
And a patient thought they were talking about her.
Oh, no.
And it was, I guess, a huge deal. And since then, they are not cows. We do not call them cows. We call them wows. Workstation on wheels.
Oh.
Some places may call them something else, but you will find that nobody calls them cows anymore.
I did not know that.
That's the story.
Look at the things I'm learning. Yes. One patient says, not patient. God almighty. Let me transition my brain. One Reddit thread says, I use my phone voice function to make notes and set alarms.
Oh.
I thought that was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Mapping day with an hourly chart. People were advising certain pens and links to pens. Sharpie and light on my badge. I have seen nurses kind of weighing down that ID there. And sticky notes is still a thing, apparently. Eat enough food. They carry a protein bar with them. Mm-hmm. The joke is always nurses get a lot of urinary tract infections because they don't hydrate and they don't pee.
There's actually a condition called nurse's bladder.
Yeah, I lost that. I need to pee all the time. I can't hold it forever.
I used to think that night shift nurses were coffee drinkers. And I came to find that that is not true. Night shift nurses eat to stay awake. Yeah. Day shift are the coffee drinkers.
Yeah, when I worked night shift, there were a lot of morbidly obese nurses. I actually lost weight working night shift because I would have cereal before shift. It's a 12-hour shift, but it's really like 13. because they...
Plus, that's your morning. If you're getting to work at 7 at night, that's...
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, let's say I'd been off for a few days, and so I needed like to kind of fuel for the time. But, 12-hour shifts, but your half-hour lunch you have to add. And then we had to stay over to pass report. And so there's this overlap.
Right.
So, and then if you want to add driving there and driving back, that's a good 14 hours just dedicated to work.
That's true.
So, but I would have cereal, and then I would have my lunch break at whatever time in the morning, 1 a.m., whatever. And I would have, like a sandwich, just some fruit or something. And I may have a snack. I would buy Pop-Tarts out of the vending machine. And my one friend, Lisa, would have one, and I'd have the other one. And then I would go home, I would have cereal, and I would go to bed. So it's having 2 fortified cereal meals a day, and then,
You are not a true night shift. I mean, you may have worked night shift, but some people are built for it. Some people love it. And to them, I say, thank you. I love you.
Yeah, we need the night. I mean, we need nurses, and
absolutely.
Everybody's there.
People do not want to work days. They like working nights. They function on nights.
Yeah.
It's different because I won't say that the patient, supposedly they're supposed to be sleeping, but this is when the sundowners happen. That's the patients who become agitated and confused when the sun goes down.
Yeah. Yeah.
But some people just are built to work nights, and they love it, and I love them.
Yeah, no, I'm glad they do it. There's a lot. Yeah. We can have a whole conversation on that. Popular release 4160 says coffee, smiley face. So that's a perfect transition there. And, I'm not going to say those words out loud. So I'm not going to say those words out loud. Heavy duty badge reel with a metal cord so it doesn't break.
Oh, yeah.
And this one individual says, psych nurses trembling in fear. I imagine they're worried. I don't think it's just psych nurses, but any agitated patient, if they took that badge, right?
Yes. This is also why we're not supposed to wear dangly earrings. You're at the bedside, and I can remember this little old confused lady grabbing my hair with a death grip and not letting go. It's hard to get out of that.
Yeah, 100%.
Which is why I'm amazed when I see nurses with beautiful, long, flowing hair that is just hanging down.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was always told to have it up when mine was long because you're going to lean over wounds and things. And,
yes.
So I imagine they're tying it up then. But so anyway, if you really, really want to see, some comments, you can look for that. One really good self-care one said, meditating on my break.
Yes.
This is probably not what you're looking for, but it helps. So that's self-care aspect. All right. Well, I think that kind of wraps some of that up, but I think it's, people see nurses carrying things all the time, and I wonder if they know what we have or
if
why.
Anybody wants to comment on something that they use at work that is helpful, we would love that.
Right. Yeah. Like realistically, we don't need the things that we can't read, but you could send it, I guess. If you really think it's
just put it in the comments.
Yeah. We have the email, infectiouslaughterpodcast@gmail.com.
There you go.
So yeah, share with us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we would love, maybe we'll give you a shout out. You never know. Sounds good?
Sounds good.
All right, Nancy. Congrats on another episode where we figured out how to use this stuff. Right.
The technology.
Good job.
The hosts and producers of this podcast explicitly disclaim any liability or loss incurred directly or indirectly as a result of the use or application of any of the content presented. Educational or health-related discussions are meant for general information and entertainment only. They are not medical advice and are not intended as a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always consult your own healthcare provider for any medical concerns or decisions.
While we make every effort to ensure accuracy, we make no guarantees about the completeness, reliability, or accuracy of the information presented. Medicine is always evolving and content may become outdated.
This podcast may contain discussions of medical procedures or topics that some may find sensitive. Listener discretion is advised.
And most importantly, we laugh with our patients and coworkers, never at them, because nursing is serious work, but it comes with seriously funny moments.